Welcome to our channel. Why does God sometimes seem silent in times of suffering according to the Bible? Many people who trust in God wrestle with this question. Why does it feel like God is distant when we need Him most? The Bible does not ignore this struggle. In fact, it addresses it honestly through the stories of real people who faced deep pain and wondered where God was. In the book of Job, we see a man who lost everything and cried out to God in his grief. For many chapters, God says nothing and Job is left with questions, sorrow and silence. But later God speaks, reminding Job of His power, His wisdom and His presence. Even in the silence, God was listening and working. David in the Psalms often asked the same question. In Psalm 13 he says, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" But even in that pain, David ends the psalm with, "I will trust in your steadfast love." The silence did not mean God was absent, it was part of a deeper walk of faith. Isaiah chapter 55 reminds us that God's thoughts are not our thoughts and His ways are higher than ours. Sometimes God's silence is not rejection. It is preparation, growth and trust being developed. In our hearts, silence can make us seek Him more deeply and lean on Him more fully. In John chapter 11, when Lazarus was sick, Jesus delayed going to help even though He loved Lazarus and his sisters deeply. That delay caused sorrow, but it led to a greater miracle when Jesus finally arrived. He raised Lazarus from the dead, showing that God's timing, even when it feels late, is always perfect. Romans chapter 8 verse 28 says that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him. Even when He seems silent, He is working behind the scenes, shaping us, comforting us and leading us towards something greater. So why does God sometimes seem silent in times of suffering according to the Bible? Because He may be drawing us closer, preparing us for something deeper, teaching us to trust Him even when we cannot see Him. The silence is not the end of the story. God is still present, still loving and still in control. Stay curious, stay faithful, and keep exploring.